Why your brain sees faces everywhere. The science behind pareidolia. Imagine this. Your brain is wired to see faces everywhere, even in the most mundane objects. This isn't just a quirky human trait, it's a fascinating phenomenon backed by science. Let's dive into the intriguing world of face pareidolia and explore how it captures our attention, potentially revolutionizing the way advertisers promote their products. But here's where it gets controversial. Could this knowledge be misused to manipulate our perceptions? Let's find out. Ever notice how you can see a face in the clouds, or how your toaster seems to have a mischievous grin? This is face pareidolia in action. It's the brain's tendency to perceive faces or facial expressions in inanimate objects or random patterns. A groundbreaking study by the University of Surrey has shed light on this phenomenon influences our attention, opening up new avenues for marketers to exploit our natural tendencies. Published in the journal Eye Perception, the study delved into the differences between attention directed by averted gaze, when someone looks away from another person's eyes or face, and attention directed by pareidolia, where we perceive faces and objects. The researchers conducted 4 experiments involving a total of 54 participants to measure how our attention is swayed by the direction of another person's gaze. The results were astonishing. Participants consistently shifted their attention in response to both averted gazes and pareidolia. However, the mechanisms behind this attention shift are quite different. When we see averted gazes, our attention is primarily drawn to the eye region. But when we encounter face-like objects, we are captivated by their holistic structure, leading to a stronger response and heightened attention. And this is the part most people miss. It's not just about seeing faces. It's about how our brains process and react to these perceived faces. Dr. D. Fu, a lecturer in cognitive neuroscience at the University of Surrey, explained the findings. Our research reveals that both averted gazes from real faces and perceived faces and objects can guide where we look, but they operate through different pathways. We process real faces by focusing on specific features, like the direction of the eyes. However, with face-like objects, we process their overall structure and the positioning of their eye-like features, resulting in a more intense attention response. The implications of this study go beyond just understanding how our brains process information. Dr. Fu adds, our findings could have practical applications, especially in product advertising. Advertisers might incorporate face-like arrangements with prominent eye-like elements into their designs, capturing consumer attention and leaving a more memorable impression of their products. But here's a thought-provoking question for you. Should advertisers be allowed to use this knowledge to manipulate our perceptions? Could this lead to a future where we are constantly bombarded with subliminal messages, influencing our choices without our conscious awareness? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is a harmless marketing strategy or a slippery slope towards manipulation? Let the debate begin.
Pareidolia. Why we see faces everywhere. Ever gazed at the sky and spotted a face in the clouds? Maybe a silhouette of a girl, a warrior with a sword, or even your beloved deceased poodle. This intriguing phenomenon has a name. Pareidolia. It's our brain's quirky habit of recognizing familiar shapes in random patterns. We've all fallen prey to pareidolia at some point, even if we weren't aware of its official term. A striking example occurred a decade ago when a woman, Sheila Anthony, a devout Catholic from Bangalore, India, saw the image of Christ on a burnt piece of roti. She consulted her local priest, who deemed it a miracle. This 2002 incident quickly became the talk of the town, attracting a staggering 20,000 Christians to her home. But here's where it gets controversial. This wasn't an isolated event. In 2004, a Florida woman spotted the Virgin Mary's face on her grilled cheese sandwich and sold it on eBay for an astonishing $28,000. People have also reported seeing demonic or angelic faces in smoke during significant fires or explosions. It's no surprise that in the Harry Potter series, Harry could converse with Sirius Black through the Gryffindor fireplace. Some might argue this was just a creative twist on pareidolia. Experts suggest that pareidolia stems from our brain's information processing mechanisms. The brain constantly analyzes random lines, shapes, surfaces, and colors, striving to make sense of them. The fusiform gyrus in the temporal lobe plays a crucial role in facial recognition.
This tendency is an evolutionary byproduct, helping us distinguish between friends and foes. Recently, NASA's orbiters have captured numerous heart-shaped geological formations on Mars. These formations, resulting from volcanic activity, impacts, erosion, or dry ice sublimation, appear almost perfect despite their random origins. One famous heart-shaped crater captured by NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter is believed to have formed from an oblique impact, further shaped by erosion and possibly seasonal frost. So, is it a cosmic sign or just a coincidence? You decide. We even perceive faces in car fronts thanks to the strategic placement of headlights, eyes, grills, mouths, and bumpers expressions. This subconscious tendency is brilliantly exploited by Pixar in movies like Cars, making the characters emotionally relatable. The applications of pareidolia are vast. The next time you see a face in a tree, a cloud resembling a dog, or even Jesus on your toast, you know precisely what to call it. And this is the part most people miss. What do you think? Is pareidolia the fascinating aspect of human cognition, or just a quirky byproduct of our evolutionary history? Share your thoughts in the comments below. For more updates, join, follow our and channels.
Unveiling the mystery. Why our brains see faces everywhere.
Have you ever caught yourself seeing faces in random objects? You know, the coffee cup stain that resembles a smiling face, the electrical outlet that looks like a surprise character, or the mountain peak that uncannily mirrors a human profile? That's face pareidolia, the brain's fascinating tendency to perceive familiar patterns where none exist. A groundbreaking new study from the University of Surrey has peeled back the layers of this phenomenon, revealing how it captures our attention and why marketers might soon weaponize it more strategically than ever before. But here's the twist. Our brains react differently to real faces versus imagined ones. The study, published in Eye Perception, enlisted 54 participants in a series of experiments testing how our gaze is directed by two distinct triggers: averted gazes, when someone looks away, and pareidolia-induced illusions. What they discovered might challenge your assumptions about how we process human-like visuals. When real faces look away, our attention naturally follows the line of their gaze. The researchers found participants instinctively shifted focus toward the eye region of the person looking elsewhere. This makes evolutionary sense. Reading social cues through eye direction has been vital for survival. Now, face pareidolia acts differently. When participants saw everyday objects with face-like structures, think of a toaster resembling a stern robot or a car front painted like a grinning villain. Our brains didn't just notice the eyes. They process the entire face holistically. This means the attention-grabbing power stems from the overall structure instead of isolated features. The researchers noted two critical differences. One, human gaze versus object gaze. Real faces direct attention through specific eye movements, while pareidolia relies on spatial positioning of eye-like elements. Two, attention strength. The brain reacted more intensely to fictional faces compared to real averted gazes, suggesting a primal urgency in recognizing patterns. Dr. Defu, the study's lead researcher, explains the brain split approach. We process real faces by concentrating on detailed features like eye direction. But face-like objects are perceived as complete structures, making the brain prioritize their spatial layout and perceived gaze location. This dual mechanism could revolutionize advertising. Imagine billboards with faces subtly guiding consumer attention toward key product features. Packaging designs incorporating prominent eye-like shapes to boost visibility. Digital ads where animated pareidolia creates instant brand recognition. But here's where insurers and ethicists clash. Could this strategy lead to manipulative marketing? Should advertisers exploit our cognitive biases? Or is it harmless? The research team cautiously acknowledges the potential, noting that advertisers could strategically place eye-like elements to heighten consumer engagement and memory retention. So the next time you spot a face in your morning toast, remember, your brain isn't just playing tricks. It's revealing a fundamental yet surprising truth about perception. But as technology enables more targeted use of this phenomenon, we're left wondering, where does clever marketing end and psychological manipulation begin? For further reading, explore the full study. Eye Perception 2025, DOI 1277-204-669-52-135-23129. Bust the myth. Should companies leverage our pareidolia tendencies ethically? Or does it cross into mind games? What other cognitive quirks do marketers exploit? And should we regulate neuro-targeted advertising? Share your thoughts. We read every comment.